Time is precious. Time is money. And this is the time for Money Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Here on Atn Business. On today's headlines, Forex, BDC operators say parallel lower first time in 15 years. In economy, inflation in the United Kingdom eases to 3.2%. On petroleum, Dangote refineries to sell diesel at 1,000 naira per litre. And on finance, high interest rates scare big investors globally. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the great business city of Port Harcourt. This is the network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economy and the sector of the economy of the society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of the viewers the business, financial, and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about the government's economic activities, private sector's business activities, laced with expert opinions, and also with stakeholders' analysis, laced up with correspondent reports here on Atlantic Television Network, ATN Business. By the end of this show, you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities around the world. Let's go for a very short break, and when we return, we'll reel out the details. Please stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back, and it's business time, and let's go to market reports, local and international news on business today. The first headline, Aminu Gwadabe, the president of Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, has said BDC operators now sell US dollars at 1,020 naira per dollar, while they buy at 980 naira per dollar, first time in the history of a long time. Gwadabe on Tuesday said that the appreciation of the naira happened faster than expected, commending the central bank and the presidency on the BDC's president stated that with the current exchange rate, it will be the first time since 15 years that the parallel market will be lower than the official window. Commenting on what the CBN has done to calm the foreign exchange market, Gwadabe noted that the unification of the exchange rate has brought convergence, which has led to a single market. He added that at the end of the FCY collateral made a lot of people start dumping the dollars, and noting that the commencement of the sale of diesel and jet fuel by Dangote refinery has also eased the pressures from dollar demand from oil companies. On the path to sustainability, Gwadabe stated that the CBN must recognize the BDCs as agents for IMTOs, as it will recalibrate their diaspora's remittance flows. the naira hit a 7-month high of 1,000 naira per US dollar at the black market on Tuesday, a remarkable turnaround for a currency that has been looked and destined to hit 2,000 naira per dollar barely 2 months ago. Whoa, we escaped that. Analysts have said clues of where the naira is headed in the short term might lay in the rate at which the CBN sells dollars to BDC operators during an auction this week. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin halving is almost upon us. This technical event, written in Bitcoin's code, happens every 4 years. In simple terms, it is when the rewards for a Bitcoin miner are cut in half. This reduces the pace at which new Bitcoins enter the market. Since there will ever only be 21 million Bitcoins, the halving serves to create more scarcity. In the past, halving has preceded massive rises in Bitcoin prices to new all-time highs. But this time, things are different. Bitcoin has already hit a new record high before the halving has taken place. That's because the approval of spot Bitcoin exchange trade funds has excited the market and brought in lots of demand for the cryptocurrency. Fantastic information coming from the cryptocurrency world. And now let's hit on to the inflation rates in the United Kingdom. We discussed the inflation for Nigeria last time, and now let's hit on the inflation rate for the United Kingdom. Inflation in the United Kingdom is to 3.2% from 3.4% in March, the Office of the National Statistics said on Wednesday. But a set of higher than expected figures spawned investors to push back bets on the timing of the first Bank of England rate cuts. Economists polled that by the press as expected that a reading of 3.1%. Food prices provided the biggest downward drag on the headline rates, the ONS has said, and while motor fuels pushed it up higher, the core figure, excluding energy, food, alcohol, and tobacco, came in at 4.2% compared with a projection of 4.1%. Services inflation, a key watcher for UK monetary policy makers, declined from 6.1% to 6%. Again, above the expectations of both economists and the Bank of England. This week, investors have been monitoring signs of a cooling UK labour market, with unemployment unexpectedly rising to 4.2% in the period between December and February. Wage growth, excluding bonuses, meanwhile dipped from 6.1% in January to 6% in February. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey on Tuesday said that he saw strong evidence that higher interest rates were working to tame the rate of prices and price rises, which has cooled from a peak of 11.1% in October 2022. The central bank's own forecast is for inflation to briefly drop to its 2% target in the spring before increasing slightly. But a higher than expected March core print firmly above 4% is likely to increase speculations that inflation is providing and proving stickier than recent forecasts have suggested. And the timing of the first interest rate cuts may be moving further down the line. Market pricing shifted on Wednesday, with a majority of investors now seeing a first cut of 25 basic points in September or November from the current rate of 5.25%, with only around 25% like continued inflationary pressures in the United States, with analysts questioning who will move ahead of the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States of America. TVNet, and watch us live on our website www.atlanticnetwork.tv. And on to some local and international business news. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery is selling automotive gas oil, AGO, also known as diesel, at a reduced price of 1,000 naira per litre. Good news. This represents a drop from 1,200 naira per litre quoted by the refinery 2 weeks ago. Chairman of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has earlier pronounced and announced that the refinery will start to the depreciation of the naira in the foreign exchange market, but noted that as the naira resurgence continues, the price of diesel will gradually come down. The price of diesel has increased by over 50.20% year-on-year, according to the Nigerian and National Bureau of Statistics Diesel Price Watch for February 2024. In the month under review, the average price of diesel across the country stood at 1,257 naira per litre, with some states selling at 1,500. The Dangote refinery only began supplying diesel 25 naira per litre after countless postponements since its inauguration in May 2023. Nice news, good news. Kudos to Dangote refineries. On electronic payment transactions in Nigeria, it rose to about 234.4 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024 as more Nigerians went cashless over the period. According to data released by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, the value recorded on the instant payments represents an 89% increase over the 123.9 trillion naira recorded in first quarter of 2023. From March to June, from January to March, there was a steady rise in the amount of payments transactions carried out via various banks and fintechs electronic channels in the country, while the NIP transactions value rose to 72.1 trillion naira in January from 71.9 trillion naira recorded in December 2023. The value of electronic payments increased further to 79.3 million naira in February. By March, the value of electronic transactions in the country has surged to an all-time high of 83 trillion naira. We are going cashless by the day. Very good news. Over all idle oil wells from operators holding on to them. Any unproductive oil well must be taken over by the government. The government also threatened to revoke all licenses given to individuals and companies that have refused to start exploration of oil. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Henneken Lopobiri, discussed this on Monday evening at an event held in Lagos by the Petroleum Club. That's an exclusive club, the Petroleum Club. I want to be a member of that club. According to the minister, Nigeria has lost about $30 billion to low oil production. In his opening speech, the chairman of the Petroleum Club, Mr. Austin Avuru, my very good friend, said that the club has invited the speaker to speak on the topic, funding our way out of the current crisis, looking up to the oil and gas industry. Avuru expressed worries that the country's production keeps depleting while the government keeps giving figures different from those given by Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. Speaking, the minister also expressed concern that Nigeria was losing about 480,000 barrels of crude oil per day due to the Seplat ExxonMobil crisis. 480,000 barrels per day. Fear that the interest rates in major economies, going to Global Economy Watch, fear that the interest rates in major economies will stay relatively high is creeping back and threatens a painful wake-up call for financial markets and big investors to be warned. The traders laser focused on expected summer rate cuts. Global stocks remain near record high and demand for debt issued by the riskiest company is firm. But asset managers and economists now expect only minimal monetary easing, especially from a United States Federal Reserve Bank facing unexpectedly persistent inflation. Big investors are not rushing to change long-term holdings, but in a sign of things to come, stock market volatility is around 6 months peak as traders debate how high the U.S. rate hurdle against which the financial assets are valued will stay. Global stocks will suffer a valuation drag from higher for lower and longer rates, says Anne-Catherine Peterson, the senior investment strategist at the BlackRock Investment Institute, the research arm of the world's largest asset manager. Amundi, the Europe's largest asset manager, said in a note on Monday that the U.S. stocks will lag globally for the next decade. It expects the equity and debt of companies in developing nations such as high-growth India and mineral-rich Chile and Indonesia to outperform. Everyone is so focused on when rate cuts are coming, BNY Mellon chief economist Shamik Dar said. The much bigger question is what is the average level we can then expect rates to cycle around. Traders who since 2009 have become used to low rates flattering asset prices are now set for an adjustment in expectations, psychology, and beliefs. You're still watching ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. Let's go for this very short break. For this business short break. And in this break, you are supposed to advertise your goods and services. Reach out to us. But hold on, we'll be back very shortly. Stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honourable
You human
on the point of order.
Honourable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people. All of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Good to have you back on ATN Business right here on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port. And now to the rest of our stories. Going into aviation industry, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has cracked down on private jet operators violating their permits by suspending the permits for non-commercial flights of 3 operators for conducting commercial flights. This enforcement comes after warnings were issued in March 2024. In a statement, the Director General, Captain Chris Najomo, said that the deployment of inspectors to ramp up surveillance of private jet activity at Nigerian airports resulted in the grounding of no fewer than 3 private jet operators. These operators were found to be in violation of the terms of their PNCF, which is the private jet permit, and the provisions and parts of 9114 of the Nations Regulations 2023. Following the grounding of the 3 operators, the NCAA DG also announced a comprehensive all PNCF holders. This initiative, he said, is aimed at ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements. It will be on April 19th, 2024. to expedite the process, all PNCL holders have directed to submit relevant documents to the authority within the next 72 hours. Now, said that these actions demonstrate the NCAA's commitment to sanitizing the general aviation sector and prioritizing passenger safety in Nigerian airspace. Moving on, in a bid to reaffirm its commitment to developing robust and sustainable relationship with its host, Nigerian Gas Infrastructure Company Limited, a subsidiary of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and handed over 2 blocks of 20 lock-up shops at Ubokodo Community, Okpe local government area of Delta State. The managing director of the Nigerian Gas Infrastructure Company Limited, NGIC, Engineer Sheyi Omotowa, who performed the inauguration, said that the project would further strengthen the smooth working relationships the company have with the host communities. Engineer Omotowa, who was represented by the Executive Director, Business Services, Mr. Kazachinyang Nuhu, noted that the NGIC is a socially responsible organization whose community relations philosophy and the views that the host as partners with the desire that they buy into business opportunities. Very lovely corporate social responsibility from the Nigerian Infrastructure Company. 2 blocks of 20 lock-up shops. Fantastic. Move on to Abia State. Governor Alex Oti of Abia State has said that his administration's policies are geared towards supporting existing industries and also attracting new ones. The governor stated this when he met with Lin Shimbao, a managing director and of the management team of the Inner Galaxy Steel Company Limited, a Chinese Ukwa West local government area of Abia State, who visited him recently. Governor Oti described Abia as an investment-friendly state, saying it is his desire to see businesses operating in the state and grow. It is our policy to support industry. Some of the things we are doing, we gear towards supporting existing industries and attracting new ones. I encourage you to continue to do business in Abia State because we are investment-friendly. We have just set up the Abia Industrial Innovation Park, AIIP, in Owaza. If you need collaboration with AIIP, since you are already in Ukwa West, we will tell the managing director of the park to engage with you. It is only when investments grow that businesses can employ people. Oti has said he charged the company on fair labor practices as a way of attracting government's continued support, while allaying the fears of clamping down on them following allegations of not producing conducive working environments for their workers. The governor encouraged the company to collaborate with the management of the Abia Industrial Innovation Park so as to take advantage of the opportunities provided in the area. Lin Shimbiao, managing director of Inner Galaxy Steel Company, explained that Inner Galaxy is a conglomerate of 4 companies that are into steel production, trailer parts assembly, battery production for automobiles, and recycling of used bottles. And now let's head on to the oil and gas industry, mostly the petroleum sector. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, has formally announced a rise in Nigeria's hydrocarbons reserve. A rise in Nigeria's hydrocarbon reserves as of January the 1st, 2024, with the country's stock of crude oil jumping by 1.087 billion barrels and its gas reserves surging by as much as 2.573 trillion cubic feet, TCF. This is in line with NUPRC's statutory declaration that Nigeria now boasts of 37.5 billion crude oil reserves, with its total gas resources as of the beginning of this year now stands at 209.26 TCF. Making this declaration in Abuja during the event, it tagged National Annual Petroleum Reserves Position as of 1st of January 2024 and the template for domestic crude oil supply obligation guidelines. The chief executive of the NUPRC, Mr. Benga Komolafe, explained that the reserves life index also stands at 68 years and 97 years for oil and gas respectively. That's oil that we have last 56 billion barrels and 5.94 billion barrels respectively to hit 37.50 billion barrels. Also, associated gas and non-associated gas reserves stand at 106 TCF, resulting in total gas reserves of 209.26 TCF, according to the upstream regulator. Only Libya, with over 48 billion oil reserves, tops Nigeria in Africa. Only Libya tops Nigeria in Africa to oil and gas reserves. Nigeria is the clear leader ownership talk, holding over 33% of the entire continent's reserves. Speaking further, Komolafe stated that consistent with President Bola Tinubu's policy initiatives, the NUPRC has been working towards improving the sector's performance, enhancing the growth of the country's oil and gas reserves, and ensuring stable production. According to him, the significance of the event was to show the capacity of the country in terms of abundance of hydrocarbons that has been proven. Komolafe explained that most of the new addition to the reserves were from brownfields, especially recent production from fields owned by the last marginal fields awardees. Again, this is salutary to the various initiatives of the Commission and the fact that, of course, some of the brownfields through the marginal field awards have started producing and contributing to our national oil and gas reserves in furtherance of the provisions of Chapter 1, Part 3, Section 7, G, I, J, K, M, Q, and R sections, and other powers enabling me in this respect. I declare that the total oil TCF as the official national petroleum reserve position as of January the 1st, 2024. Komolafe investment climate and positioning Nigeria as the preferred investment destination for oil and gas sector in Africa and diversifying the economy for the benefit of all Nigerians. The NUPRC, as the industry's regulator, he said, was committed to improving the country's oil and gas reserves as well as the successful completion of all strategic initiatives that will enhance the sector's productivity, including the Nigerian gas flare commercialization plan. That's the plan to stop gas flaring. We have shifted it from 2025 to 2030, and it keeps shifting. Gas flaring has to stop in Nigeria. Now let's check the Bureau of Statistics as pertains Nigeria's inflation. We have seen that of the United Kingdom, 3.9%. Now, let the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics tell us about Nigeria's headline inflation rate as we continue and increased. The inflation rate of Nigeria has increased by 33.20% as of March 2024. 33.20% as of March 2024. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics said this in its Consumer Price Index, CPI, and inflation report for March, which was released in Abuja on Monday. According to the report, the figure is 1.5 rate in March 2024 was 11.16% higher than the rate recorded in March 2023 at 22.04%. In addition, the report said on month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in March 2024 was 3.02%, which was 0.10% lower than the rate recorded in February 2024 at 3.12%. This means that in March 2024, the rate of increase in the average price level is less than the rate of increase in the average price level in February 2024. The report attributed the increase in the headline index for March 2024 on a year-on-year basis and month-on-month basis to increase on some goods and services in the divisional level. Moving on, it's also said that these increases were observed in food and non-alcohol beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuel, clothing, and footwear, and also transportation. Others, it said, were furnishing, household equipment and maintenance, education, health, miscellaneous goods and services, restaurants and hotels, alcoholic beverages, tobacco and cola, recreation and culture, and communication. It said the percentage change in the average CPI for the 12 months ending March 2024 over the average of CPI for the previous corresponding 12-month period was 27.13%. This indicates a 6.76% increase compared to 20.37% recorded in March 2023. It said the report said that the food inflation rate in March 2024 increased to 40.01% on a year-on-year basis, which was 15.56% higher compared to the rate recorded in March 2023 at 24.45%. The rise in food inflation on a year-on-year basis is caused by increases in the prices of gari, millet, apple, that's uncooked, fermented, and under the bread and cereals class, yam tubers, and water yam. Others, inflation in all these products I'm calling. Others are dried fish, sardine, mudfish, palm oil, vegetable oil, beef feet, that's cow leg, beef head, cow head, liver, coconut, watermelon, Lipton tea, Bonvita, and Milo. The Nigeria Bureau of Statistics have said. It said on a month-on-month basis, the food inflation rate in March was 3.62%, which was a 0.17% decrease compared to the rate recorded in February 2024, at 3.79%. You can imagine that it had decreased, but we are still feeling the pinch of it. Moving on, the fall in food inflation on a month-on-month basis was caused by a decrease in the average prices of guinea corn flour, plantain flour, etc. under bread and cereals class, yam, Irish potato, and cocoyam. Others are Titus fish, dried mudfish, Lipton and Ovaltine, it said, 2024 at 2.17%. The average 12-month annual inflation rate was 22.26% for the 12 months ending by March 2024. This was a 5.04% points higher than the 17.22% recorded in March 2023, it said. The report also of inflation in Nigeria on a year-on-year basis in March 2024, the urban inflation rate was 35.18%, 12.11% higher compared to the 23.0%. On state profile analysis, the report showed that in March, all items inflation rate on a year-on-year basis was highest in Kogi State at 39.97%, followed by Bauchi State at 38.34%. Kwara State goes on by 38.10%. It, however, said that the slowest rise in the headline inflation on a year-on-year basis was recorded in Borno State at 25.78%, followed by Benue and Taraba State at 28.12% and Katsina at 28.32%. The report, however, said that in March 2024, all items inflation rate on a month-on-month basis was the highest in Zamfara State at 3.90%, followed by Abia State at 3.89% and Ondo State at 3.75%. Borno State at 1.46%, followed by Yobe at 1.84%, and Adamawa State at 1.85%, recorded the slowest rise in month-on-month inflation. Nigerian Bureau of Statistics have said. The report said on a year-on-year basis, food inflation was highest in Kogi, followed by Kwara State and Akwa Ibom State, continued with Nasarawa State at 33.76%, followed by Borno State and Bauchi State, and recorded the slowest rise in food inflation on a year-on-year basis, it said. The report, however, said that on a month-on-month basis, food inflation was highest in Abia State at 5.17%, followed by Cross River State at 5.14%, and Bayelsa State at 4.75%. Cross River State stood at 1.59%, followed by Yobe State 2.08%, Adamawa by 2.12%, recorded the slowest rise in inflation on a month-on-month basis. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Business News on ATN Business, Atlantic Television Network, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. I remain your host, Raymond Ken Mbata. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and stay connected with us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Until we've graced your screen, same time tomorrow, and even with an interview section to follow up with, stay tuned and stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable on them. They are not picking our call. They made up their mind.
So no agreement with the EU, but
you.